PFF's list of the top 50 players is in the books, so we're moving to the 10 guys that just missed the list. We want to highlight 4 guys on the list that came out on ProFootballFocus.com today, starting with Adam Thielen of the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, let's go one at a time. I'm going to give you Adam Thielen as my guy that I want to say. I want to bring up as someone who just made the list, could easily have been on this past year. Thielen has become really a spectacular wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. I was running like a weekly highlight reel of his on Twitter last season, just highlighting plays where he leaves a guy in the dust, plays where he makes spectacular catches, sometimes both at the same time on a play. He's become, I think, one of the best route runners in all of football. He had one of the best PFF WAR scores last year, wins above replacement, at least when you look beyond quarterbacks. He was one of the most valuable receivers in the NFL. He really has become one of the best players out there, and because he was such an unknown quantity coming into the NFL, made it as a tryout player from the Vikings, not even an undrafted free agent. He's one of the best stories in all of football, and I think another year like the one he just had, he would be on this list this time next year.
Looking at Adam Thielen, I want to stay there. He's a great route runner, great release package, and his teammate Stefon Diggs is also very good, and that debate between them two is a good one. I want to know your take on Adam Thielen or Stefon Diggs.
Yeah, I can't remember who the commentator was that said it during one of their games last season, but they basically phrased it like this. Teams respect Adam Thielen, but they're scared of Stefon Diggs. And I think that's a pretty good way of summing it up, that Thielen is really good down to down, and they respect what he can do. He's an excellent route runner, will make a ton of good catches, but Diggs is the one that scares them. Diggs is the guy that they have to put the extra attention on. They really need to pay attention to where he lines up because he can do special things.
Diggs is a fantastic wideout. It's crazy how good he is in contested catch situations. And another guy on this list I want to bring up, staying in the NFC North, is Davante Adams, a guy who's improved his overall grade every year in the past 3 years, up to a career-high grade last year. This is a guy that just missed the top 50.
Yeah, and Davante Adams is another spectacular route runner as well. You look at the NFC North, they've got an absolute ton of those guys in the whole division. It's one of the best divisions in the NFL when it comes to these route running players, whether it's Adams, Thielen, Diggs, there's a whole bunch of those guys. And Davante Adams has become Aaron Rodgers' go-to receiver, the only guy that's left in that receiving core that he really trusts. Again, if you put another season like he just had, in 2019, he's a guy that could well be on the list in a year's time.
And that Aaron Rodgers trust comes up huge in the red zone. In the last 3 years, Davante Adams has earned the highest receiving grade inside the 20-yard line, more than Michael Thomas, Julio Jones. This guy gets it done inside the 20-yard line. What part of his game makes him that good when the spacing becomes limited?
Yeah, everyone thinks of red zone threats as these big wide receivers, big targets, even guys like Jimmy Graham who just win through being larger than the guy trying to cover him. But really some of the best red zone targets are these shifty receivers because they get open, and they get open by a larger amount of space than other wide receivers. And that becomes more important than ever when you're down in the red zone and all that space is truncated. Any additional amount of separation you can get makes you a really good red zone target.
Creating separation is both what Thielen and Davante Adams can do at the short and intermediate level with the release packages they do have. Enough of talking wide receivers. I want to go to the defensive side of the ball. Another Adams makes this list. Jamal Adams, a Swiss Army knife for that New York Jets defense. There's really nothing this guy doesn't do well.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of the most versatile safeties in the game. You know, Derwin James is getting a ton of hype this past season because of what he could do and all that versatility. Jamal Adams is just a year ahead of the game. He's been doing it for a while now. And the Jets line him up everywhere as well, like the Chargers do with Derwin James. He's lined up in the box. He's lined up deep as a single high free safety. He's even lined up a cornerback, like out on the boundary against legitimate wide receivers and tight ends. So yeah, Jamal Adams can do everything. He is a real leader on that defense, and another player who's unlucky to miss the list.
That race between Derwin James and Jamal Adams to see who's the better of the two is going to be an exciting one. Both those players are playing at an outstanding level, very young in their career. Staying on the defensive side of the ball, a guy I know you love, Hakeem Hicks, who had a breakout year with the Chicago Bears. This is a guy that was maybe, if he turned 2 years of that production, makes the list, but he's still a very good talent.
Yeah, what's amazing about Hakeem Hicks is it wasn't that long ago he got cast away by the New England Patriots. It's amazing they didn't re-sign him given how they use their defensive linemen. Hicks is one of the best run-stuffing linemen in the NFL. Back-to-back years with 44 defensive stops. A year ago, that was good enough to tie for the league lead for defensive interior guys. This year, it was second only to Aaron Donald. So when you're trailing only Aaron Donald, you're doing a pretty good job of something. His run defense grades have been spectacular. But even as a pass rusher, he's averaged 50-plus pressures in each of the last 3 seasons. That's a hell of a rate for an interior guy whose run defense is his best quality. So he really is this all-round defensive force, and I think will only be better with Khalil Mack healthy alongside him the whole way for the Bears.
There you have it. To see the 6 other players on the list, go ahead and go to ProFootballFocus.com to check out the article. And while you're there, go ahead and check out PFF's free elite trial that will be running through June 18th. Go ahead and subscribe there to get all the access to the grades and advanced stats we speak to. Thank you.